By May 8th, 2025, 106,000 Black women lost their jobs, including me. And those of us that's been out here trying to find work again, it's basically just been non-existent. And I'm starting to feel like this is by design because there are over 100,000 women, Black women like me, who have the same story, who has applied for over 300 plus jobs and just not getting it, not getting any replies. There's just no feedback. Or you get the emails that says, hey, we have chosen someone else that has been more qualified for the job, even though my experience and my education fits the job description perfectly. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Um, this is the first time in a long time that I am actually starting to panic. I came from nothing. I came from the bottom of the barrel. And I spent years building myself, educating myself, paying my way through college, going through a lot of experience to get to where I was in my career. For it just to be snatched away. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I am facing homelessness. I'm about to lose my car. I can't pay on my credit card, so my credit is about to take a severe hit. Dashing is not enough. It's just not enough money. There's so many people that are out here unemployed, just like me. There's a lot of us that are out there. And the little money that I did have in savings, I used that to help my daughter move here. And it just, as a mother, I'm panicking because she didn't ask for this. You know, there's no way that I can ask my 20-something-year-old daughter to care for her able-bodied mother who cannot find a job. I am trying to keep myself sane by humor, trying to keep myself busy with various things. But there's only so much that you can keep up the mask before you start breaking. And when you have come out of a situation that you don't want to go back to, it puts you in a mental state because I don't want to go back to homelessness. I don't want to go back to I just don't want to go back to that. But and I thought I'd done everything I could to prevent that from happening again. I've lived on the streets before. I slept in parks before. I've walked the streets for hours when I used to be homeless. And that's why I worked so hard to put myself in a position to not go there again. I even got rejected I applied to be a cashier, a cook at a McDonald's. And the manager told me that I should be ashamed of applying for that position because I would be taking that job from other people who doesn't have the experience as I do. I don't give a damn what kind of job it is. I'm just trying to work to keep my head afloat and to keep myself off the street. I have nobody. It's just me. And I had to prepare my daughter for what I see coming. And as long as she's okay, I don't I don't care about I do care about going back to the street. I don't want to go back to the street. Um, but as long as she's okay, then I know I'll be okay. as long as she has a roof over her head, even if I don't have. And I think it's by design because every single job that I have applied for, I can count on one hand of how many interviews that I've been to. And the interviews were stellar. I come out feeling good. I'm like, oh, I got this, blah, blah, blah. To only get an email saying that, hey, we didn't choose you for the position, choose somebody else. I even had 2 interviews set up to where the interviewers didn't even show up. So, yeah. And what is someone to do? What do they want us to do? A lot of us are going to be in the street, desperate. And I literally don't know what else to do. I'm trying not to crash out, but it's so fucking hard. I haven't even been in my apartment for a good 2 months now. 106,000 Black women laid off. And I think the most hurtful thing when I was laid off March 7th. I search for jobs every single day, sometimes applying for multiple positions for the same company. Applying for jobs that match my job skill, applying for jobs that I'm overqualified for. How can I tailor my resume for a job when my last 2 positions is an IT manager and an IT director? And if I apply for something that I'm underqualified for, they're not going to hire me. If I apply for a position that exactly meets my job skills, they don't hire me. I have revamped my resume so many times, I don't think I can revamp it anymore. People like to say, oh, you have a lot of skills, you have a lot of experience, you have the education, it's going to be easy. It is not easy out here, and it is not easy getting a job. And I'm scared. I'm scared with everything that's going on right now. I'm scared.
Shalom. Welcome to another video. And as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, or Wadash. And next, double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what people hear or what they forbear. So this is going to be a lesson entitled, Eve, you chose the serpent over your man. Now you have to eat that. Alright. And I'll select it for the long introduction video. About 8 minutes long. But I wanted you to hear, alright, the things that she was saying. Okay, a lot of our women are starting to wake up and see, alright, that you know, they fell for the okie doke. Okay, that the whole time their lover, okay, the serpent, Esau, Edom, alright, that he has fooled them, he's tricked them. Alright, he's fattened them up for the slaughter. Okay, and they're starting to see that this system that they chose over the men, alright, was never for them in the first place. That they're only pawns. Okay, they were only used to get to Jake, to get to the Israelite man, to destroy him. Alright, but anyways, let's go ahead and dive right into this topic. And Yahweh Rachazami, the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. I'm going to start off here in Genesis chapter 3. Alright, verse 13 in the New Living Translation. Okay, this alliance between Eve and the serpent, alright, which caused Adam to stumble, alright, goes all the way back to the garden. It goes all the way back to the beginning. This is Genesis 3 and 13 in the NLT. It says, Then Yahweh asked the woman, What have you done? The serpent deceived me, she replied. That's why I ate it. Okay, she ate of the tree of the fruit of good of knowledge and evil. Knowledge of good and evil, excuse me. So that wasn't a literal fruit. All right, pretty much it means that she ate, she indulged in wickedness. All right, and passed that wickedness on to Adam. All right. So it's the same thing today. Okay, our women, a lot of them have indulged in that poison fruit that Esau brings, all right, through his wine, his knowledge, his wisdom, his philosophies, okay, which are all left-handed. All right, and when I say that, I mean they're all wicked, the knowledge of wickedness. Okay, and the same way that back then it was used to cause the fall, to cause the stumbling of Adam, all right, which represents the Israelite man today. All right, that's exactly what Eve was used for. She was used as a pawn in the serpent's schemes. All right, continuing on, it says, verse 14, then the Lord Yahweh said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed more than all animals, domestic and wild. The nations are likened unto beasts. You will crawl in your belly, groveling in the dust as long as you live. And I will cause hostility between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will strike your head, and you will strike his heel. And this is a reference to Jacob and Esau. It says that Jacob took hold of his heel. Okay, so this is a reference between Jacob and Esau here. Verse 16, it says, then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. And Esau took that desire, perverted it, all right, which really, you know, the man is the head. Okay, when Eve was created, all right, it said, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will create him an helpmeet. All right, that's what the woman was created to do. But all right, through the left-hand philosophies of the serpent, which came as Esau Edom in today's time, all right, Eve has stumbled from her natural use. All right, she's fallen from that. She's failed to be the rest that she was created to be for her husband. All right, and now that we're getting close to the end, okay, Esau, the serpent, is getting ready to turn on Eve, and that's what you're seeing here in this video. All right, so he sold her the illusion of feminism, all right, of independence. All right, that's why you would always hear the woman say that, I'm strong and independent, I don't need no man. Hey, well, you're gonna come to find out that the only partner that you have in this world, all right, was the Israelite man. Okay, your lovers don't love you, and we found it out the same way when we committed adultery on our spiritual husband, the Heavenly Father. We found out that our lovers didn't love us. These other gods, these other nations. You see what they did to the children of Israel. All right, now our women are going through that. So let's get this right here. It says the advantages of companionship. I'm going to start off here in Ecclesiastes 4. I'm going to read this in NLT, verse 7. It says, I observed yet another example of something meaningless under the sun. This is the case of a man or woman who is all alone without a child or a brother, yet who works hard to gain as much wealth as he can. And that's the illusion that Esau has sold, not only to the woman but also to the man. He pushed that go-getter, you know, bag chasing mentality. Okay, and really that's just pretty much I'm a good slave mentality. All right, because at the end of the day, no matter how much money you accumulate, it all belongs to Caesar. As Yahushua said, all right, when this wicked of the scribes and Pharisees came to him and said, you know, should we pay our taxes? He pulled out the coin, right, with the inscription of Caesar's face on it, and he said, give that which belongeth to Caesar unto Caesar, and that which belongeth unto the Most High unto the Most High. So this is an illusion, right? Chasing a bag. Okay, it all belongs to Caesar, aka Esau. It says, but then he asked himself, who am I working for? Why am I giving up so much pleasure now? It is all so meaningless and depressing. All right. It says, two people are better off than one, but they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. And that's what the place that a lot of these women are getting ready to find themselves in, the fall of just like you were joint heirs with Esau, in his rulership. As long as you were used as a pawn against your man, now that he's getting ready to fall, you're getting ready to fall with him. It says if one person falls, the other can reach out and help, but someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Likewise, two people lying close together can keep each other warm, but how can one be warm alone? A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken, and that's what's getting ready to happen. All right, Esau is getting ready to make a move on Jake. He's getting ready to attack, and a lot of these women are getting ready to find themselves alone. All right, why? Because once again, they drink that juice. They said, we don't need no man. And now that the times are getting hard, okay, the men, and even men that are alone, you know, they're gonna have a hard time. But the men of the great millstone and hopeful elect men, you know, that teach like-minded doctrine, okay, we have the brotherhood. All right, as it says, a threefold cord is not easily broken. Imagine, you know, all the brothers standing together, okay, in righteousness though, because we're not supposed to unify with the wicked. But anyways, just wanted to read that. All right, once again, okay, you know, when there's there's power and strength, all right, when things are in order, okay, when you have a righteous household, all right, when you have the man doing what he's supposed to be doing, serving Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and the woman serving him, all right, there's peace in that, because now you've been brought back to your natural places, the helpmeet, okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Esau, through his philosophy, has told you that that's wicked, that's wrong, it's degrading. So now, because you listen to the serpent, you're about to face the consequences of that. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach, and I'm gonna get this in a Good News translation. Sirach 13. All right, in the GNT. All right, and it says, Sirach chapter 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 2 in the Good News translation. It says, "Don't try to lift something too heavy for you, and don't keep company with people who are richer and more powerful than you. You cannot keep a clay pot next to an iron kettle. The pot will break if it hits the kettle." All right, and that's essentially what Eve has done. All right, Eve has trusted in Esau because she sees his power. Okay, and that's the nature of a woman. Women want to be with who's winning, right? But because they didn't have the gift of faith to believe the scriptures, when we told them that the one who's winning right now is getting ready to become the loser, and that the losers are getting ready to become the winner, they didn't believe. What did they say? They looked down on us. They called us bums. Okay, so now when it comes time for us to win and for their partner to lose, they're going to lose with him. It says, "A rich person will use you as long as he can profit from it, but when you need him, he will leave you helpless." And that's exactly what Esau's about to do. Esau is the rich man. Okay, he will use you as long as he can profit from it. As long as he could use you as a pawn against the Israelite man, it was all fine and dandy. Okay, and now he's getting ready to throw you out. It says, continuing on, "He will live with you as long as you have anything, and will gladly drain you dry. If he needs you, he will trick you with his smiles and cheerful, kind words. Do you need anything?" he will ask. And what's the form of that in America, Babylon the Great? Do you need it? You need this high-paying job? Well, we can get that for you, as long as you constantly tell your men how they're nothing and how you're over them, how you're better than them because you make more money. All right, that's the mindset of a lot of these Eves. What do you see going on in popular culture? You got to have 3 6s, 6 foot tall, 6 figures, with the 6-inch. You know where I'm going with that. Okay, where does that come from? All right, that comes from the serpent telling our women that if a man doesn't make $100,000 a year or better, if he's not a 6-figure earner, that he's not worthy of a woman. He's not worthy to have a helpmate. Okay, that's the lie. That's the illusion and it's been mostly pushed on Eve. Okay, the so-called black woman. All right, and that mindset is seeped into other cultures. Okay, but as you can see, all right, who is it primarily targeted against? All right, it's primarily targeted against the so-called Negro, the Judite man. Okay, because that is Esau's biggest enemy and his biggest threat. So you were a pawn. All right, as long as you were willing to do what he wanted you to do for his purpose, you were fully complicit in the destruction of your men. And now that the time is coming where the Lord is getting ready to exalt the low and humble the lofty, you're gonna have to eat that. Continuing on, I'm gonna read that one more time. Sirach 13:7 in the Good News translation. "Do you need anything?" he will ask. "He will feed you until you are embarrassed. Finally, when he has drained you 2 or 3 times over, he will laugh at you. If you see him later, he will pretend he doesn't know you and will pass you by." Okay, and that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. All right, when the calamity strikes, okay, these Edomites are not going to care that you were partners with them against your men. All right, they're going to turn on you, and when that time comes, all right, he will laugh at you and pass you by as if he doesn't even know you. Verse 8, be careful not to be misled. You can be enjoying yourself and suddenly find yourself humiliated, which this is where that woman is finding herself now. Okay, it was all fun and good. She said it. She said, we chose the system over our men. And now you see what the end result of that is. Okay, the end result of that is shame and humiliation. All right, and there's so many more precepts I can get, but I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to add it. I'm going to end it with that one. Okay, and you brothers, go ahead and light the comment board up, because there's a lot of different, I have a whole list of precepts I can go in on, but if I do, it'll make the video go over. I don't want to be long-winded. I feel like that was a beautiful place to close it. So go ahead and, you brothers do your thing with the skillful adding. With that being said, Yahweh Ratchazah was edifying. All right, you sisters, okay, now's the time to get in line, get with a righteous brother before it's too late. Because once that time comes, okay, where it's time for us to win, all right, the men are going to remember this. They're going to remember how you acted. They're going to remember how you did not humble yourself. They're going to remember how you were perfectly complicit in the destruction of the Israelite man. So before the women start coming in droves, all right, before the Israelite man is exalted, because that's what's getting ready to come next. All right, get yourself in order and hope and pray that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has mercy on you. I'm going to close out with that. Heavenly Father's will is edifying. As always, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rachash. And until next time, Shalom and Abad Babal.